3 million years from Earth, the Red Dwarf podcast. Thanks for the memory. Its crew, Blake Braswell, a USA native, and Lee Malaby, his English co-host. Additional. I try to remain optimistic on this journey through Series 7, but I'm yearning for better jokes without using curries as punchlines. Actually, I need to finish writing this joke, but I had to step away. I've had too much lager, so I need to go visit the Vindaloo. Sorry. I know that joke is nonsense. What's up, Smackheads? Welcome to Series 7 of Thanks for the Memory, a Red Dwarf podcast, where we watch every episode of the BBC comedy show Red Dwarf and discuss them. As always, I am Blake here with my English co-host, Lee Malaby.
Brilliant, I love that. Yes, there's a lot of curry references, especially in this episode. It's like, oh, we haven't done a curry reference for a while. We need to get them all in this episode.
So that's a meta joke in the sense that I'm so tired of curry jokes that aren't funny that I was like, I can just write a curry joke too. Watch. Yeah. And I just wrote one right for it. It's like, it's not that funny. Although I did figure you might appreciate that.
Right. So we alluded to this in the last episode. This is a 1-2 punch for this series, most definitely. So let's get into it because I'm intrigued to see where we go into this. So the episode, as we said, we are talking about on this one is Series 7, Episode 6, and it is titled Beyond a Joke. The episode originally aired on February 21st, 1997. When searching for a new head for Crichton, which exploded due to an incident involving ketchup and a lobster, the crew encounter a rogue simulant on a deserted ship. The simulant kidnaps Crichton and commissions one of his own droids, Abel, to fix him up. But Crichton and Abel discover they are brothers, the same model, and Abel helps Crichton escape, but not before Crichton discovered a disturbing secret about his creation.
I always love when you do a synopsis to an episode that I feel is weak and going, that should have been the whole episode. The whole episode should have been Crichton with his brother.
Which it kind of is, but
it takes a long time to get there.
Because, like you said last week, the AR suite, that whole Pride and Prejudice world feels completely tacked on just because we need to go somewhere that isn't a spaceship.
So here is our 1-2 punch of the previous episode. In the previous episode, we also talked about Kachansky not being enough to do. And so this is what I wrote about this one. I feel like the concept of the Pride and Prejudice world could have absolutely worked toward its own whole episode centered around her trying to get the guys to culture themselves.
Yes. And yes.
Like if we actually were going to do this, because I'm like, we still don't have enough of her. We have a little bit in that one episode where she's like, look, I knew I grew up posh. And I even commented how I liked it because it gave her a sadness like Rimmer has, where she's like, I didn't have friends because I did virtual school. And it's like, oh my God, she literally only had computer generated like teachers and classmates. Yes. She never had. And so it's the same way when you learn the even though they're trying to be funny, the reality of Lister and Rimmer, leaning into that helps you write and create these great relationships. Well, I like that idea with Kachansky that, oh man, actually she's got a pretty sad backstory too, even if she's the successful navigation officer now. A Pride and Prejudice themed episode stuck in the AR, especially one that got, oh my God, would that be such a good episode? Or that's such an idea to make a whole episode around and really make it about her, you know? And her trying to build a relationship with the guys. And instead, just like our previous episode, I feel like both Pride and Prejudice and another moment that happens in this are the two funny things they thought about. And we're going to support getting to those punchlines.
It's literally there to give them something to do to leave Crichton on his anniversary day. So they needed, Crichton's gone to the trouble of getting this lobster and cooking it for 2 days so they can have this nice meal, but they're not going to be there because they're going to do something else. And it's literally there just to give them a reason to not be there with Crichton.
And can I, and I know you and I've said this before, there'll be a continuity or a story thing that's like I know I'm maybe overthinking it. It's a silly show, but I do think you have to justify things. And again, on my subsequent watch, I don't understand. There is nothing given a reason as to why Lister doesn't go, hey guys, before we do the game, look what Crichton's done. Let's eat. I feel like old Lister would have done that because he realizes it's important, right?
Yeah.
So why not just eat? Because they act like there's a timeline to the AR suite. Why would it be?
Yeah, they can go whenever they want.
And literally, here's what I don't get. The logic of, I always think back to like when people make complaints about, if you complain about I'm trying to, like something in the prequel Star Wars, and you're thinking too hard about it, man. The old one was about a walking dog. And I'm like, yeah, but it had its own internal logic that worked. And so they fight their own internal logic in this scene. He literally is like, Crichton, if there's space weevil under there, I'm not going to do it. I do not want to eat
something that's been a cartoon
or whatever. Yeah. But then to turn around and be like, it's lobster. Why didn't that stop every one of them in their tracks? And go, screw this. We're going to eat that. Because they don't ever get access to good food.
No, that's true.
So why? I mean, I feel like previous series of Red Dwarfs, there would have been a whole episode around, oh my God, the last lobster. And we're going to, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And instead they just like, whatever.
But it's there to give Crichton a reason to already be angry, to do a bit of slapstick on Pride and Prejudice world. And then for when they do come back,
yes, it's all about getting that tank. I think the tank in Pride and Prejudice is literally, you feel like that was the moment they were like, yeah. What's the weirdest? Let's do it in Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, we've got access to this tank from GoldenEye. What can we use it for? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But then, so when they get back to actually having the meal that he's already pissed off, and then Lister asks for the ketchup, which...
And I will say, the delivery that Robert Llewellyn gives to the what? It's so good. After he asks for ketchup is a great Crichton delivery. The what?
It's weird as well that Lister referenced brown ketchup. No, we don't call it brown ketchup. We call it brown sauce. Ketchup is red. That is tomato sauce, right? Brown sauce is brown sauce, not brown ketchup. So that was a weird reference.
I did think that was weird, and I quoted it wrong, by the way. Do you have any ketchup? The clunk of setting the thing down with him going, any what? Is so great. And I talked about the previous episode. It's sad when there are one lines that you are like, that is classic. His delivery of that is great. This is the gag though, isn't it? They wrote the show based on this gag. Like his head blowing up because he's so upset. It's funny.
And it's so well done. That transition point between real Robert Llewellyn and like the exploding head is seamless.
It's hysterical. Like that he blows his head up over asking for ketchup for a lobster. That feels right. Like that's a slapstick thing though that feels 100% right. But the whole like, you don't appreciate the time I spend. I don't know why I bother. And not for nothing, but is there anything to make us think that from the previous 4 series he's been in?
No, right? They're
usually pretty, like even the one where he wakes him back up and remembers like, you're feeding him space. He's like, shh, don't say anything. I've made it really nice. And Lister doesn't notice. He's like, oh, this is delicious. Like,
oh yeah. What's this? Like lettuce.
Yeah. No one has trashed his cooking. The only problem he has is lack of access.
Yeah.
To stuff, which so again, he's got a damn lobster. So I just don't, the premise of this thing, I don't get.
No.
There is no timeline to play the AR game. They're just floating aimlessly in space. I don't, if there had been some conceit, I know this is really nitpicking, but if there becomes some conceit of like, we're trying to keep the drives as high as possible to try and see if we can still catch up with Red Dwarf for this rift to get Kachansky back. We can't run the oven and the AR suite together at the same time. Our power generator sucks. So don't cook the lobster yet. We'll do this first. Then you can cook the lobster. I know that's stupid for me to say. That would make me feel better. And maybe that.
No, yeah.
But I do think little things you pay attention to, it just helps. And when they're not even trying to make that work,
yes,
I think it speaks as to why the bigger pieces don't work.
Yeah, together. Agreed. Yeah, it's, I don't know. It feels like they had some ideas. Like it feels like Chloe Annette went, I want to do something that's kind of girly. Oh, well, I tell you what, we'll do this. But then this is the episode that we've got. We want to do this with Abel and Crichton and all that. So we need a reason. We need a reason for them to be going to look for it. And it's
well,
kind
not to
of
see what my wife says when she listens to this episode, but I caught her face watching the Pride and Prejudice bit in the beginning, and she thought it was really funny. And I was like, this sucks because there's not much of this episode.
Yeah, it was funny.
And that was what really made me had the thought of this actually, if you had them be fish out of water and they were stuck or trapped in it somehow, this would be funny.
Because we got some funny cat references when he's like, these trousers are too tackle tight. It's hard to be whatever it is when your nudges are split in two. And he's like, oh yeah, all trousers, like all clothes at this time were the same. That's why they had so many wars. There's like some really good, there's some really good jokes in there. Yeah, it really is.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been
interesting. It made
interesting.
me think of like Waxworld.
Yes.
Like if it had been like if they could have gotten trapped and some crazy stuff happened. Because I even like Crichton running around like a ninja shooting blow darts.
Yeah.
Like there was a whole episode's worth of something with this conceit. Even though I was like, oh, the AR suite again.
Yeah, well, I love like when he launches the big log on the vines and it misses her and then hits him in the head, but then comes back and knocks him over. And I've complained about the slapstick in Red Dwarf early on, but it was funny. It made me chuckle. There's some really good moments in this. Just as a whole, it's just, again, we've said it before. It's not like they don't know how to do it. It's not like they don't know how to take two storylines and merge them together. Again, I'm going to go back to the benchmark for that, and that is Waiting for God. Because you've got the whole cloister cat priest down in the basement, but then surrounding that, the whole garbage pod with the Quagars. And it's such a good episode, and it doesn't feel like, oh, we've got this idea and we've got this idea and we're somehow going to squish it together to make one episode. It feels natural, whereas this one and the previous one just feel like they've got 2 or 3 ideas and we're going to put them in the blender and mix them all up, and this is what comes out, and it's like, it's a bit of a mess, really.
It really is, and like the previous episode, good things in here to make something. I really think the Pride and Prejudice, it's a missed opportunity. There is something inherently funny about sticking Dave Lister into Pride and Prejudice, and
Kat.
Like,
I think Kat would have loved it in the end.
See, this is another thing. I know I use reference Star Wars, but it's like one of the things that makes me nuts in the prequel is Leia's and Luke's dad or mom, dies when they're literally born.
Yes, literally.
And in Return of the Jedi, Luke's like, I don't remember my mom. Do you remember your real mom?
Oh,
your real mother, Leia? Knowing that she was adopted.
Yeah.
And she's like, their image is really, but it's described in such a way that's like 3 to 4 years old.
Yes.
Kind of memories, right? And so when she dies, I'm just like, God, this really screwed up watching Revenge of the Sith for me, because I was like, I couldn't let that go at the end. I was like, that doesn't fit. No. I don't understand. This is kind of the same way. Not for nothing. In another previous series, they could have been excited to have found an AR suite, and Crichton was so excited because they found Pride and Prejudice and the guys need culture. Like, he was very keen on trying to improve their lives. Yes. And so this is one of those where I'm like, actually, the concept, obviously not conflicting with the anniversary meal, this is one of those where Kachansky and him
could have worked together.
Yes. Yeah. Like, it could have, and maybe the argument is like, well, no, there's more they need to learn. And he screws it up by playing with the system and whatever, There's a whole hijinks episode where they're stuck in the thing, and the conceit of, if we die in here, we die for real life, and there's this whole story. It's a shame, because there is definitely an inherent worth to the idea. And I think it was just all to get to the Goldeneye tank.
It's weird, isn't it? Because you've got Pride and Prejudice, you've got Crichton, his backstory of like why he is and why he looks what he looks like, plus the anniversary, all mushed together. Just a weird amalgamation of things that don't work together to create the whole.
And actually, after you just said that, we've kind of done this already. Like his whole expiration date in series 3.
Oh yeah.
And so he's about to be replaced, and like the idea of the dark story of him being made as a gag between a couple that was splitting up, it did mean it's like nothing. It's just it doesn't. But well, and also like Crichton isn't. I'm not, no, that's the wrong word. The worst things, again, that Rimmer says about Crichton are kind of true, but not to the extent that Rimmer says they are. But Crichton in series 7 is like how Rimmer used to say Crichton is. So I don't know. And then another whole conceit that would make a good whole episode is him and his brother. If you literally don't make it a quick thing, let them be on the same ship together for a whole episode or whatever, you know.
Because he has some funny little moments, isn't he? It's like, you're a 4000 series. Wait a minute. And I love Crichton's like, what an annoying characteristic.
I like that. Let me send that down to what is it? Long-term memory.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to do almost like a Billy Bob Thornton doing the movie Sling Blade, except as an android. Yeah. And that Gelf is back. It's so weird that the Gelf thing came up.
I have an issue.
And it was a funny one, the whole Lister marrying the Gelf. And for whatever reason, the only thing they keep bringing back from series 6 is
the Gelfs.
The Gelf, and it's the same costume.
I have an issue.
And it's and then not only do they dress up like Gelfs, but then they also a Gelf is on the ship with the simulant. Like
where did he come from? Where did that Gelf come from? Right? It's weird because they're
and the fact the Gelfs came and attacked them in the first episode, or the third, whatever episode they got Kachansky. That episode.
Yeah.
Was that the third one? No.
Ouroboros.
Ouroboros. Oh yeah. God.
Yeah, I know. It's such a weird series. Like, again, I've completely forgotten that Ticket to Ride was part of this series because it just doesn't feel, it feels so detached from everything else. Where the hell did that Gelf come from? So I have an issue with that Gelf. I mean, obviously, the Gelf was the one that snuck aboard Starbug and stole all the stuff. But they were like, why don't we just dress up as Gelfs? Because we won't be able to, because we can't speak Gelf. It's like, but neither can they. But they've got a Gelf on board. So you're pretending to be Gelfs because they won't understand what you're saying because they don't speak Gelf and you don't speak Gelf, but they've got a Gelf on board. The Gelf's never referenced other than the fact he's just hanging around in the background. It's weird. That character's weird. It's literally there so that they can distract.
It's almost confusing.
Because I was like, oh, where's that person come from?
Yeah.
It was very odd.
And why is the simulant, because the simulants have been dangerous enough to just be on their own. Why if you were going to bring the Gelf in, I feel like the one you would have brought it in was them going, and then a real Gelf comes in.
Yes.
Right?
But obviously at that point, he was aboard Starbug. That's what you're supposed to take from it, is that they're Abel and the simulant are keeping them talking while he's aboard.
But then, why couldn't it have just been Abel? He's like, it could have. It's so pointless. But the Gelfs come and they trap Kachansky on this side of the.
It's odd.
Which I felt was weird anyway, because I was like, wait, the Gelfs fly around and do that? Like, you didn't get that impression from the episode they had been introduced in, and like they don't come back to Sirens. The Emo Hawk kind of is a callback to the
polymorph.
But the polymorph. But for whatever reason, the Gelfs keep coming back, and it reads like a budget saving thing. And then I don't know if you went through the trivia, but it is. It's the same suits and stuff.
Okay.
That like they had saved. Man, I don't know. Like it
feels very out of place though as well, because you've not seen anything of the Gelfs to make you think that they would either shack up with a simulant or at worst, which we're not quite sure what the relationship is there, to be like a sidekick or like a gopher for a simulant. Like, why? It's so weird, but it's not even referenced. Like, there's no reference to... They don't even acknowledge that Gelf is there for the entire episode at all. I think it shows up in like 2 scenes. It's just there in the background. And you're like, oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Well, who's that?
And even when they beat the simulant through Abel's help, the simulant goes nuts and blows. You still don't see the Gelf.
No, it's very weird. Again, it's like... They wrote an episode and didn't quite have enough time to go through it another couple of times just to tighten it up. So there's like a lot of convenient things in there that don't make a lot of sense.
Well, and like, so they add this drama and comedy that his head keeps blowing up, which is funny.
Yes.
But they really don't lean into we only have one head left.
Yes.
And it feels like, so then they go back to a ship, which is something they keep doing. They mentioned a place they've been and they have to go back and get stuff. But so they go back to get spare heads. And by the way, did we talk about, I don't think we did, this episode's written by Doug Naylor and Robert Llewellyn.
Yes, which I did find interesting.
And the original script was very different. And there was more stuff with Abel. I think it said,
because he wanted to write himself out of it, Robert Llewellyn, because he was tired of being in the suit.
Right. He's like, 8 episodes instead of 6? We're in the suit too damn much.
And then ended up doing an episode where he's in it twice in the suit, in 2 different suits. So he's in it even more.
I know.
Which is hilarious.
And like him being an alcoholic version, whatever, Otrazone, whatever it is he's drinking. Man, my notes are so few on this. Hard to believe Lister wouldn't go for the lobster first. I did like Colostomy Explosion as a rock band name.
Yes.
Thought that was funny.
Did you get the Tales of the Unexpected reference, by the way?
The next one I asked you was, what? I was like, this has got to be a show I don't know. That's the line is, that's about as unsurprising as an episode of Tales of the Unexpected.
So Tales of the Unexpected, it's a little bit before my time. So it's kind of I suppose kind of the Twilight Zone. It's like each episode, a kind of Black Mirror, I guess. So it was written by Roald Dahl, funnily enough.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah. And it was on in like the 70s and it ran from 1979 to 1988. And I only ever remember one episode, but they were kind of like horror drama-y things, but there was always kind of twist in the tale at the end of the episode. That's where the Tales of the Unexpected comes from. And I always remember one episode specifically where there was like a guy who'd been eating royal jelly, from like bees, and then he turns into like a bee at the end. They were very odd episodes. You can imagine it was late 70s, early 80s.
I love this description of one. I love that somebody wrote on Reddit. I love the episode where the wife killed her husband by bashing in his head with a frozen leg of lamb and ended with her and the detective sitting down to eat the lamb.
Yeah, they were very strange. Like I say, it's a little bit... I wasn't at the right age really to watch them. And I watched a couple of them, but it was they were basically like sort of thriller episodes, but there was always like a twist at the end. And obviously that twist was, according to Red Dwarf, very much telegraphed throughout the entire episode, is what I'm guessing. It kind of makes me want to go and see if I can find some episodes of it and watch it, quite honestly.
What I found online are a lot of people talking about how this got them into horror because they saw it when they were 8 or 10 and it scared them. But like it's kind of was a gateway.
I might have to see if I can find them. I'm not doing a Tales of the Unexpected podcast with you, Blake, by the way, when we finish this.
No. We'll call it Royal Jelly, though. It's a good name for the podcast.
Yeah, I'd be interested to watch a couple. But it's kind of that, it's very much, like Black Mirror, where you kind of think you're watching one thing and then it's kind of twist at the end, that type of thing.
Right. M. Night Shyamalan. We're going to surprise you.
A lot crapper by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about this episode, man. I literally stopped taking notes after being asked for ketchup.
I feel like there was it's funny again when we're recording this, but a Stranger Things reference in there. I can't remember what it's to do with now. I've literally just wrote Stranger Things reference. Does Crichton say totally tubular? And I was like, oh my God, it's Dustin.
Oh, when he says Abel, right? When he takes the Otrazone or whatever that the drink is in his belly.
Oh, yes, he does.
Totally
yeah,
tubular.
Totally tubular. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, what is the chances that we would be watching this episode in like the week or two that Stranger Things Series 5 came out?
And we got a Star Wars reference.
Oh, a big Star Wars reference.
Yes, this is one of those like small roles in Star Wars that I just remember in my mind because of his delivery. But the guy who plays General Tag in A New Hope, doesn't get a name, but he's at the table when Admiral Monty's the one that gets choked by Darth Vader. I find your lack of faith disturbing. And General Tag is the guy who's having the argument, who's like something about the Rebel Alliance. They're more dangerous than you realize. And then Moff Tarkin comes in saying, the Senate's been disbanded, yada, 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 and all this stuff. And I just remember Tag's face because they show his reaction to the guy being choked. Peter Cushing doesn't really have a reaction. But Tag like leans back, kind of taken aback by this dude being choked to death in front of him. Burned in my brain, little bowl cut.
Yeah.
General Tag. I I know my original trilogy backwards and forwards, if listeners have not.
It was very sad looking through the trivia, though, because I was like, oh, his voice is really cool. Like, they've got that really, like, simulant robot-y voice, and then you read the trivia for it, and it says the odd tone of Don Henderson's voice as the simulant captain was not a special effect as many fans assumed it was. Henderson was terminally ill with throat cancer and died a few months after filming. You're like, oh my God, I wish I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was really sad. He was probably just picking up as many gigs as he could, right? Collect paychecks for his family. And yeah, that was pretty sad. He also, on an interesting note, is the first person, I believe, to say the word Sith, because Sith Lord isn't actually said until the prequels come out. But yet several people remember the term Sith Lord out of the original, but they weren't said. And it's because of all the comics and stuff said it. And in fact, the comic and book adaptation had Sith because they had the script before it was finished edited. And he said something about Sith. He says the term Sith Lord, but it's a deleted bit out of A New Hope. And so then because it's deleted, it never gets said again until Samuel L. Jackson, maybe in episode 1. But
I just feel sad because I really liked his voice. I thought his voice was really cool, but then you read that and you go, I don't know whether I should feel like I still enjoy how his voice is as the simulant captain, because
I know it's sad, but it's weird because when he was up, I was like, I know this guy, and I couldn't peg how. And when I looked, I was like, oh, he's General Tag, and I'm like, I just have the way that in my brain so heavy how he delivered his couple of lines in A New Hope, but like, I totally recognized him, but he's almost unrecognizable in the role.
You think so? I think you can tell.
But my wife said, she goes, there's a cadence to the way he talks.
Yeah.
She's like, I think that's what like really sticks out. But you'd think like his voice sounded great for the simulant thing, but it's sad that that's why. I wonder if anyone besides himself knew that.
I feel like I want to Google that we've got a Sega reference in this. When did the Mega Drive come out? Because I feel like Crichton's reference to all his negativity being on his Nega Drive was a hint to maybe it sounds like late. Oh no, probably earlier actually.
No, September of 1990.
Oh yeah, so this was like 97, wasn't it? So we're well in advance. Yeah, I thought
it was the Mega Drive.
It's strange how they call it his Nega Drive though.
So it was called the Mega Drive in the UK, right? I think it was Sega Genesis in the States.
Yeah, we called it the Mega Drive. I didn't realize the Sega Genesis was the Mega Drive, just with a different name. I didn't realize that.
Same thing.
Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting.
It's like the Famicom in Japan, but it was just Nintendo for the rest of us.
Interesting.
Entertainment system.
I did not know that.
Isn't that weird? We're both English speak. I don't know. It's so funny It's so funny with the little changes and stuff that happen. Like I'm looking at the boxes of your Mega Drive and it looks exactly the same font and everything, except ours just said Sega Genesis instead of Mega Drive.
Well, it's like it still happens today. So you watch Zootopia, the Disney film that came out, or the new one that's coming out, Zootopia 2.
No, we haven't seen that yet. Although I did get my daughter for her birthday.
You are aware of it, yes?
Oh yeah. She got all the toys. So we're supposed to go see it soon.
That movie was not called Zootopia over here.
What was it called?
Zootropolis.
That's the same thing.
But that's what it was. I don't know.
But I mean, like, that's okay. Wait a minute. We're gonna take a sidetrack because, that'd be like we called it Zoo Big Town and you called it Zoo City. It's Zootropolis, Zootopia. It's like the same thing.
I don't know, but that's what it was called over here. Because I remember I have a friend of mine who does a movie podcast, and they were talking about it on their podcast. And we went to see something else. And the cardboard standee for it was in the cinema, in the theater, like in the lobby. And I took a picture of it going, see, it's not called Zootopia.
Although, that is weird because, well, actually, no. The idea is Utopia, Zootopia, because she thinks it's going to be amazing there and perfect there, and it's not. So actually changing it to Zootropolis does change. So in the movie, does she say, I'm going to move to Zootropolis and not Zootopia?
No, actually. That's an interesting... I don't know. I didn't pay that much attention when I watched it. I've only seen it once. But that's an interesting question, because that would be weird. It's like...
That would be weird.
So, Blake, we're going off, and let's be honest, we're probably better off going on tangents than talking about this episode, to be fair.
The problem is our previous episode It's so many of the same things.
Yes.
The thoughts behind it for this episode. So yeah, it's fine.
I assume you've seen the Sylvester Stallone, Wesley Snipes film Demolition Man.
Yeah.
Are you aware that there's 2 different versions of that movie?
Is there a UK version?
See, I don't know whether it's the UK version. So I went to the cinema to see that when it came out. I owned the VHS and I also owned the DVD when it came out. And on all 3 versions of that, so there's a whole section, isn't it, where there's only one restaurant brand in, I can't remember, wherever the city is. Because
is it Taco Bell?
Taco Bell.
God, I can't believe I remember that.
Right?
It's been a long time since I watched that movie.
Because Taco Bell were the only ones to survive the franchise wars, is what they say. I haven't seen that film in such a long time, right?
Taco Bell and seashells, that's what I remember.
Yeah. So I didn't own it anymore, and I decided one afternoon I wanted to watch it with the kids a few years ago, because they're not kids anymore. So I acquired a copy of the movie from a place on the internet that some people acquire movies from, right? Is what I will say. Bear in mind that I am in the UK and I watched it in the cinema and I watched it on the DVD and I watched it on the VHS and it was all Taco Bell. The version that I watched this one Sunday afternoon, it was not Taco Bell, it was Pizza Hut. And I was like, what the hell?
You know, they're owned by the same people. That's weird. I'm almost positive that's true.
And I'd seen that film 20 or 30 times at that point. And what version is this? Because we didn't have Taco Bell. We've only just got Taco Bell over in the UK in the last... There's one that I pass on my way to work that's only maybe 2 years old. So we've only had Taco Bell very recently. And like Demolition Man came out. Right? Pizza Hut we've had as long as I can remember. So it seems...
yeah, because I remember seeing a Pizza Hut in Edinburgh.
Yeah, so it seems really weird that it would be Taco Bell and all the releases, but then suddenly this random copy that I got was Pizza. Anyway, it was very strange. We have some weird, again, we always make the reference on my other podcast because I have 2 American co-hosts that we are, 2 countries separated by a common language.
Yes, exactly.
Anyway, back to Red Dwarf.
No, back to this thing that we're talking about. I mean, look, Don Henderson being General Tag from A New Hope was my most exciting thing about this episode. He was
great in it, actually, as well.
And then the last note I wrote was the jump to 8 episodes was a bad idea.
I agree.
Because clearly it feels overstretched. Whereas all the series prior, you almost feel like, man, I wish they'd done more.
Yes.
And I don't know. There is something about this. And again, no one sets out to make something that's not as good.
No.
I'm sure there are restrictions. I'm sure in a perfect world, there's all these things Doug Naylor wanted. There's because Doug Naylor, I watched the documentary on the making of the USA Red Dwarf and how much he was trying to improve it and stuff. And he was being followed. I mean, the dude is great. But who knows what constraints or whatever they were under. I have this memory that the next series, while I cannot, to be fair, I don't remember its quality. I remember a couple of good punchlines.
Yeah.
Overall, because I just haven't seen them as much, does not feel as cheap as this does. And that sounds crazy because we go back and look at series 1 and 2. You're like, these look cheap. Yeah, but it's 1988 and 89. They don't feel far removed from Tom Baker's Doctor Who or anything else, you know, that's happening. And in fact, they tended to use their cheapness in their favor. And instead of doing fantastical stuff like teleporting and all this stuff like we get in Star Trek, they grounded it more.
Yeah.
And this series feels cheap. Not Ticket to Ride. Ticket to Ride actually feels like that had a budget.
Yeah.
Everything else after really doesn't.
You would argue that Stoke Me a Clipper did.
Oh, sorry. Yes. That almost feels like it's in another series entirely.
They do. Those first 2, this is what I've been saying, that those first 2 episodes got me so excited because I've been reading Facebook groups and stuff like that moving into series 7. Everyone it's widely regarded as the worst series of Red Dwarf. So I watched these first 2 episodes and go, I'm excited for maybe this is the Red Dwarf that I want, and it's not what everyone else wanted, and I'm excited to move in further. And it has gradually got worse. I'm really concerned about 7 and 8.
A little concerned about moving forward. I think we're gonna have more fun with 8. I know things change a lot.
Oh no, I mean episodes. Oh, right, you're talking about season. I was meaning episodes 7 and 8.
I think series 8 changes enough that I remember feeling like I was able to take it on a new face value.
Because of probably, like you said, because they've had the upheaval of losing Rimmer and still wanting to keep him in it a little bit. But then,
you have basically had Rimmer in 4 episodes.
Yeah.
So if we were back to 6 series episode,
he'd be in 2/3 of it.
You would almost have made him disappearing the next to last episode. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
Or the very first, I don't know. Yeah, it's weird because you changed it, but not enough.
No, and I think that's the thing. But I think that because they've had to contend with that and then bringing Kachansky in and not really knowing what to do with her, that maybe, again, I have no memory.
To be fair to the creators, do you know what I feel like with Kachansky? I feel like they're so worried about her being compared. It's like they got afraid to give her more to do. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we talked about in the previous episode, like if she had been a competent version of Rimmer and really driving what's happening on the ship, that could have been fun. And where listeners like, heck yeah, I got Kachansky back. And then he's like, oh God, I don't want her back now. Like, and maybe you changed it because Crichton's like, oh, we've got someone competent. This is great. Like but because you could almost feel like they don't want people to compare because they know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Instead, they just played it too safe.
So all right then, here's the flip side of it. What if you lose Rimmer and don't bring anybody in to replace him and just move forward with Kat, Lister and Crichton? How does that work?
I think I would have done that in retrospect. I think I would have done that. And again, there were some things, but they talked about they wanted to get Kachansky in because they were looking at trying to do a movie and having a strong female character to also round out the cast. Like, so there were other things behind the scenes that were doing choices, but knowing what I know now, your question in the previous episode, would you have taken the money but done 6 episodes instead of 8 with the same budget? I honestly think, yeah. I think if I'm not losing a Rimmer until if you did 6 episodes to 1/3 of the way in, I think I would have made getting Kachansky the last episode of the series.
And then bring her in for the next series, yeah.
That's your cliffhanger to go, oh, what? But you've had this, man, there's no Rimmer, you know? And I think if you have no Rimmer for 4 episodes, and then you do this, the previous episode we just did Blue, and Lister's missing his buddy, that makes more sense. Yep. Because you didn't put Kachansky in to slot in. You know what I mean? Yeah,
because you could have that, and then, oh, something's happened. There's a rift in the space and time. Let's go and have a look.
Could be a way for Dave to get excited to get Rimmer back. But Rimmer's not there because Dave is the hologram and it's her. See? Oh my God. That would have been.
There you go.
So he's torn. No Rimmer, but there's Kachansky. And then he gets Kachansky. That's an interesting, cliffhanger to I think maybe bringing her in so fast, maybe that's a bad idea.
Yeah, maybe they should have done an episode with just the 3 of them first and allow you to kind of see the status quo of just the 3 of them together before bringing someone in immediately. I mean, we said that episode was purely built around just bringing her in. That was it. Like, it wasn't a good episode. It was just built around getting her from where she was to into the part of their crew to replace Chris Barry as Rimmer. That was it, purely and simply.
And again, I've said it in previous episodes, but I'm by no means saying that we are smarter than anybody working on this. Because again, nothing gets made in a vacuum.
No, but we have hindsight. That's the big thing.
Yeah, there's all this stuff that was going on that you go, man. And who knows? We may have just suggested ideas that caused a ton of other problems.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe they had the same ideas we did and just go, it couldn't work because of this, that, and the other.
Or oh yeah, that would have been great if we had time but we didn't. Or the only way we got the money we did to pay for everyone was we had to give them 8 episodes and yada yada yada. You know, like, so I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff going on, but it does just feel we've just had 2 episodes that have the Rimmer and Lister kiss, the Rimmer experience, Crichton's head exploding.
Yeah.
These 3 really good gags. And it feels like these last 2 episodes only exist to get to those gags. And that's it. Not to tell us. I think back to like Wax World. What was it called? The one, was that what it was called? Wax World? Meltdown,
yes.
And like how, even though it doesn't look like they got a ton of money, with all these extra people and all the stuff you learn about Rimmer getting a chance to finally lead like he wants to.
Yes.
And like, like everything that would kind of happen would still give you a glimpse into who they are. You know, it's like the stasis leak. Lister goes after Kachansky and it's all like, you know.
Yeah.
But these episodes aren't giving us other than Stoke Me a Clipper, which is a great, who are they? Like Rimmer, is this really your shot to go be something different, you know, than what you think you are? The rest just don't have that.
No.
And I don't know. So I can't believe I'm gonna say this. This sounds so friggin' pompous, but like I don't know why they exist outside of we're doing a thing. We people got jobs and stuff, but from just a story point of view, they're just. I'm curious about the next 2 after this.
Yeah, me too, actually, because it's been on from the first 2 episodes down a steady decline. And
you know what, and it'll be telling if the next 2 are a tick up, it will show you that maybe 6 episodes is what needs to happen.
Yeah. But then the next series is 8 episodes as well. So
and you can tell the cheapness because like I mentioned in the previous episode, but I wrote it down here. Instead of traveling somewhere, they're always trying to match the first 2 seasons where they're stuck on the ship instead of the seasons where they actually traveled out and did things. Except then they use the AR suite to take them somewhere like the Knights thing or the Pride and Prejudice. And it just, I don't know. It's like the idea of chasing Red Dwarf petered out after series 6. And I do know where some things are going a little, but I'm not. There's something missing here. Like even in series 6, even though it had lip service at the beginning of every series, we're trying to get back to Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
We found a trace of the thing.
You have a purpose.
Yeah. And in the previous ones, it was, look, trying to survive. Or, you know, hey, we replicated these strawberries. That whole Demons and Angels episode. Like, we replicated these strawberries. We're trying to find a way to not just survive, but like thrive, for lack of a better term. Like, be more than just making it. And now, I don't know what this crew is doing.
Nothing. Honestly.
Because series 1 and 2 was like, what do we do? And that's okay too. You know, like what is the point of any of this? And even the end of the first episode, Slime, we're coming back to Earth, right? Like, so I don't know what to do. So we're just going back to Earth. And we try to get faster. We try whatever. And to an extent, that's still a thought, is trying to get back to Earth later. But there is kind of a point. And right now, it feels like they should have made it a point to like, the obvious one would be to get Kachansky back. That could be a driving force. But they're not going after Red Dwarf.
They're not really doing anything. They're just kind of floating through space, and that's the thing. And I'm not saying they need to have a purpose, but we have done for 6 series. Like you say, even if it's just a little reference here and there, this series it's all about the fact that Rimmer's gone and Kachansky's come back in, but it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. No, it's not going anywhere. It's weird. You also feel like if you were going to bring Rimmer back, he would disappear from me in episode 2, and he'd come back in the final episode of the season to save the day.
Yeah.
You know, like cool. You'd bring him back, like something like that. And he'd still be a terrible ace. He would still probably be the worst ace there's ever been. So you could still have fun with that. But I feel like man, I don't know. Is this to the ratings? Are we done already?
I think so.
Have we deflated out of this episode?
The problem is, a lot of what there is to say about this episode, we said on the last one. I'll be honest, I've watched it 3 times, and by 2/3 of the way through, I kind of zoned out, because the end's so just It's like they end up defeating him.
We didn't even talk about the punchline. That punchline's terrible.
They defeat him. Well, not even that. Just the way they defeat the simulant in the end is to use Crichton's negativity that somehow ends up on this nega drive, and Abel goes and gets on them because he thinks they've double-crossed him and he's gone back to the simulant, but he hasn't. And he uses the negativity to kind of like put a beam over the simulant ship and it makes him lose his temper basically and blow the ship out, like blow the ship up from the inside out.
It's a very parody to me of like Star Trek Next Generation. Oh, if we could just send a probe, reverse the negative polarity of the data. Like, it feels like a sort of a joke at that. I don't know. Why does that sacrifice?
I don't know.
There's
that weird bit in the middle, isn't there, where they're like, turn and go the opposite way. And it's like, why are we going the opposite way? I don't know. It's crazy, isn't it? Unless we'd planted something on the ship. But we didn't. No, we didn't. But we must be done, because why else would we... Yeah, that whole scene.
I'm glad you brought that up, though, because that pattern is classic Red Dwarf.
Yes, it is, but it's a very strange...
Because I do like the idea of it's so crazy, they're going to be scared we did something.
Yes, and they do, because they're turning around and following us, and she's like, see?
And again, she is, on paper, the competent Rimmer, but they're not using her that way. Like, so that, whereas before, Lister's like, shut up, Rimmer, you're so annoying. You're wrong, and I'm right. But in this case, it would be, shut up, you're so annoying, Dan, you're right. Yeah. Like, that would be an interesting...
Because it worked.
To make it different. Yeah. So you go, yes, we're acknowledging she's kind of filling the Rimmer's role, but in a different way.
Yes.
So like, it's driving Lister nuts in a complete different way. She is so competent. Because really, we've had her for 1, 2, 3, 4 episodes now. She, like Rimmer said, Lister, you're a slob. And he's like, I am what I am. Piss off. I think it's different if Kachansky's like, you're worthless.
Yeah.
Because then I think he feels it. Like, and I think that's interesting. I think
because
that's
he doesn't care what Rimmer says about him, but someone who he kind of has a crush on tells him that, and he's like, oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because Rimmer's such a screw up. It's like, who are you telling me anything? Dude, you're a mess. But if she says it, and again, I like the idea if she's a bit of a mess too, like they're all broken in some way, but and that's again, like you've all these pieces to do something really cool and interesting, I think. Especially this idea of this like posh girl who had no friends, who aced the Space Corps, and she got all these things that Rimmer wanted to have, but it meant nothing because she had this crap childhood with no connections and no like, you could make Rimmer, but the difference, like she's attractive, she's smart, she's competent, but she missed all this social stuff or whatever, like that. And look, we've said it before on the show. We're probably digging deeper than anybody thought.
Yeah.
But even if they didn't mean to do it, that is why Rimmer is great.
Yeah.
That is why when we had those realizations going, oh, wow, they're really sad people. That, I think, is why this works. In America, as we saw with the U.S. pilot, you guys in England, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've got a beautiful knack in your storytelling to lean into a sort of negativity is the wrong word.
No, it's not. I think that's exactly it. We like to look. The prime example for me is something like Afterlife. Ricky Gervais, the last series that Ricky Gervais did about he's a guy his wife has cancer and dies, and he's struggling through every day. And like, have you watched it, Blake?
Yeah, I know that one.
It is so well written, and to me so very British, because there's an episode in that. For anyone who hasn't seen it, where I'm not gonna spoil it, because just go and watch it. It is Ricky Gervais, for me. That series, or both of those two series, are some of the best writing he's ever done. Where I literally found myself at one moment crying, absolutely crying with laughter, and by the end of that episode, sat there in tears. Because the end is so sad. And I think we do that better than anyone else, is write stuff that's true to life. Life isn't always up, or it isn't always down. Life can be up and down, up and down, up and down.
We have an optimism that is like, and again, we're talking super stereotypically, right? And like broad strokes.
Yeah.
We have an optimism in America that on some hands can be commendable. On others, it turns into, what's that term now? Toxic positivity, where it's like, it'll be all right. Just trust me. Just believe. You're like, well, maybe not, man. And there's a bluntness that you guys have with that. I think it's why I enjoy the humor so much, because it's just stuff you'll never hear from an American comedy or comic.
No.
Because it cuts, so hard. I'm listening to Lee Mack's autobiography right now that he reads. And there is some genuine sad stuff that I quite enjoy that he's like, I really hate to even tell you this because it's such a stereotypical thing that a comic has a rough life. And so then he was like, because I don't feel that way, but that just, I don't know, I wish was being used here a bit more.
British culture has a very dark edge and it always has done.
It does. And so for some reason, I think it's why I gravitate to the entertainment that comes from it is there is a realism.
It's a realism, I think, to life.
For looking at it dead on, right? And for what it is.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a shame that, much like in the previous episode, we said, why is it Kachansky? She should hate Dave, whether he meant to or not. He constantly has screwed up her ability to
and she's just completely ambivalent to him.
The most she does, she's like, what an idiot. I mean, I'm like, no, I think
you're just going to screw it up again. Are you? Yeah, she's just not bothered. She just doesn't seem bothered, and it's weird. It's just weird.
Yeah, so people don't like this series. Something's off. It's because Rimmer's not there, and I actually don't think that's true. No, I think that there's a world.
Yeah, I agree.
Where this continues on. The problem is, it's not that Rimmer's not there. It's that even I would argue from the beginning, with the exception of Kat, but they don't have him doing a lot. Lister and Crichton aren't there either. They're not the same characters.
No.
That we walked away from in series 6.
And you could argue that's because Rimmer isn't there. Because they haven't got that, they haven't got anyone to kind of verbally spar with, so that what's the word I'm looking for?
Oh my God. So see, I hate doing this because you have ideas and you're like, and again, not saying smart to anybody else because it's easy to do after. But oh my gosh, what have you done episodes where there's no Rimmer? And what you really start seeing is Lister basically sacrificed his own self to say Rimmer go be a hero, because Rimmer's supposed to be the guy algorithmically that would keep him from going insane.
Oh yeah, okay.
And what if Lister really starts to crumble? And then by the end, they discover the same time vortex, and they discover, so it's not just Rimmer, like Dave is excited about seeing another Rimmer. Crichton has the idea to steal that Rimmer to save his Lister. Okay. But when they get there, there is no Lister. There is no Rimmer.
It's Kachansky.
It's Dave is the hologram, and it's Kachansky, and Crichton has to settle for it. Like that would create such an interesting dynamic. And I know, again, it's a silly sci-fi sitcom, but I do think the early seasons work so well because there is such a reality of sadness that isn't explicit, but they say it. It's right there. They talk about what their lives were. I mean, even Kat may be like super like, yeah, life's great, but no, it's not. He's the last of his kind too. There's been no, that's the gag that he's looking for a lady, but there's also the gag that if he doesn't, his race is done, just like Lister's is. So yeah, I don't think it's just Rimmer. I think that would have been a curious thing. Okay, we're losing Chris Bear, we're losing Rimmer. He keeps Lister alive. Crichton knows that. What if this rest of the series becomes about Crichton going, oh no, he is slipping and I have to find a Rimmer replacement. Let's literally write into the show what we are trying to do ourselves. Find a Rimmer replacement. But literally make that a goal of Crichton. I don't know.
I think the reason it's not working is because I think we talked about it in last episode. There's no strong enough relationships between any of the other characters.
Yeah.
They're just kind of all existing in their own little pocket, and none of them have a relationship as strong as Lister and Rimmer had, and they're struggling to find what to do with these four people that don't have a strong connection anymore.
Yeah, and you really need Lister. He needs someone to bounce off of that he can. I insult's the wrong word, but if Kachansky was stronger, and I keep thinking of what's her name? Is it Diane and Sam in Cheers?
Yeah, but just to verbally spar with, which him and Rimmer did.
Yes, and that isn't happening because he likes her. I feel bad for Chloe Annette, although I don't really see anybody. Trust me, I try to stay away from a lot of the comments and stuff. But I don't see no one really trashes her. No, they're not like she came in the show and ruined.
No, I like her. It's because it's not her. She's only doing what she's given.
No. Well, it's like I liked the new Holly. There was nothing wrong with Hedy.
Hedy Haridge. Yeah.
Thank you. She was great. She was not given as much to do as
Norman Lovett. No, she definitely wasn't.
Jeez,
no.
I lost all the names.
She
wasn't given as much to do. I would love to have seen a Queeg-like episode for her where she's leading it.
Yeah.
And she's kind of in a similar boat. So,
I wonder what a world would look like if we were 7 series deep of Red Dwarf and we still had Holly.
Yeah. Because right now, what's funny, we're saying series 6 or 5, wow, you barely need her. And then series 6, you're not really missing her. Series 7, I miss her.
Do with her
or him, whichever one.
Yeah.
Because in some ways, one thing Holly did in this first 2 to 3 series, especially when this crew was aimlessly, what the hell do I do in space? Holly helped drive them forward.
Yes.
Whether it be screwing up something by saying, oh, never mind, someone had just sneezed on the radar, whatever. Like, but they drove like what was happening. Oh, everybody wake up, get out. The Red Dwarf's going to explode. There was something that they could help drive it. And no Rimmer, no Holly, and nothing driving what they're doing.
At all. They're just aimlessly living their lives at this point.
Yeah. And again, why wouldn't Lister and the crew be like, oh my God, lobster? Because it's funnier if they don't. And that's not a good answer.
No. Not when you've built a platform to be a certain way and then suddenly move into 7 series in and just fundamentally change who those characters are for the most part.
And the first episode of this series, by the way, mind you, is about Lister trying to get food you can't get anymore.
Yeah.
He travels through time
to get curries
to do that.
Effectively ruined the entire history of the timeline leading up to the point where they're on Red Dwarf.
But then here's some lobster. I know it's not curry, but like,
I
didn't even understand the like, oh, this is really good, Crichton. And Kat saying, no, it's not. Are you guys eating? I'm like, Crichton is a good cook, though. We haven't said that he's a bad cook, have we? Anywhere?
No.
But it's funnier if it is bad.
I don't know. It's weird.
Or if the line had just been, are you guys having what happened? This thing is overcooked. And it's like, that's because you had me leave it in the oven for 2 damn hours while you played your game.
Yes.
Like, it's the answer to those questions are literally within this, happens in the script.
Yeah.
But don't. And that just, I think back to like quarantine. 2 damn hours it took me to panel beat my head back into place. 2 damn hours. I mean, you talk about what would the show have looked like if they didn't replace Rimmer yet? Think about quarantine for that short bit while it's the Cat, Crichton, and Lister.
It's funny.
Together.
Yeah. It's brilliant.
In quarantine. Friggin' brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant before you even bring Nutso Rimmer back into that story.
Yeah, true.
So that's actually, I guess if I were producing this, I'd have been like, we all are going to watch this 5 minutes right here. Lister needs to start going nuts. And this is the crew now. They need to start going nuts until we bring in relief of this Kachansky. We're going to
somebody to ground him. Yeah, that would have worked better.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. They tried to fix it too quickly.
I kind of forgot about that episode in context with this, but that's a good example.
Yeah.
But they had a reason to be angry with each other.
Yeah.
And to be funny. And this episode in the previous one, the stakes aren't, I didn't even said Auroribus. Why can't I say that name when I read it? Ouroboros.
Ouroboros.
I can't believe that's the episode that she appears in, only in the sense that it's named what it's named because of Lister being put under the pool table. And when you get to the end episode, it's just, oh, look, Ouroboros batteries.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
It's not, it's nothing. Like, I don't know. It's weird.
How are we still talking about this episode, by the way?
I don't know. Well, I think we're talking about the greater, the series as a whole. I'm very curious to get to 7 and 8.
Oh, me too. And I tell you, I'll be watching them tomorrow.
I have a memory of the very end of the 8th episode. I have no other memory of the rest of it or 7 at all.
Well, I'm glad I'm not doing the outro for this because I'm not even sure how to pronounce the title of the next one.
Oh yeah, I guess I should pull that back up. Here we go. Where am I at? Okay.
We are rating this episode, which you tried to do 20 minutes ago, and we still carried on.
Oh, I know. Well, we kind of Poof.
Look, I'm giving it a 5. Because it does not have It does not have the Rimmer experience, so it's got to knock it down to a 5. So it's a 5. I think it's like I say, I've watched it 3 times and I've zoned out by the end on each
I
viewing.
gave it a 4 out of 10. Like the previous episode, its 4 points are for one good gag, Crichton's head exploding.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Wow.
Yeah. I guess that brings to the end of the podcast. This is the most depressing ending we've had so far.
Oh, it might get worse yet.
That's true.
I'll let you
It's
know
true.
tomorrow when I've watched the next 2 episodes.
I'm curious to know people listening and following along. They say they've been enjoying it so far, but they've also been enjoying the episodes. So I'm curious to see what happens as we keep going. But at the end of the day, it's like pizza, man. Even when it's not great, I still want it.
Yeah, of course.
Show me the boys and the lady from the dwarf any day of the week. Well, that brings the end of the podcast. So be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Dwarf Memory and Twitter at Dwarf_Memory for all show updates.
Yeah, but please leave us a rating and a review on iTunes or whatever, because I think we've had about 3 or 4. There's not that many. And subscribe to make sure that you get every show. And of course, you can send us your comments or whatever you want to send us to at our email address, which is dwarfmemory@gmail.com.
The next episode we'll be discussing is the 7th of Series 7. That is Episode 7, Epideme. So make sure to watch before you join us for the next episode.
Is that how you pronounce it? Are you sure about that?
I think that's how you pronounce it. I feel like I have this memory in the episode.
Well, we'll
It's
find out
Epideme.
soon.
Yeah.
Oh, great anniversary party, Braswell. Curry World, fan-smeggin-tastic. Ah!
Curious. There must be some sort of bug in the program.
I'm on fire! Water! Somebody help me!
Don't worry, sir. I'll work on it.